Welcome to Dice Controlled Dojo. I'm Phil, and I practice every day and share my tips, so hopefully we all get better when we're at the casino. Today we're going to talk about practice goals. The daily practice goals before, practice goals when we go to a clinic or work with a coach or a mentor, and then finally your next day coaching. What does that look like? What is your goals for the next day? So when we're starting off, I usually practice every day, and I've been doing this for my 90-day before we go to Vegas. And every day I write down by analyzing what my tosses were, what happened the day before, what went wrong, what did I see that was going wrong, or did everything go right and there was something I could tweak, something I could get a little bit better. So every day when I'm done, I analyze my numbers and then I pick what I was going to do for the day before. Yesterday, if you saw, it was placement. I was not hitting my target zones. I could not hit the beanbag to save my life. And I practice. So today's focus all day this morning was about trying to get those landing zones down straight. And I think I came back to where I need to be. They're landing right. I had one dice a little higher than the other, but I'm picking the landing zone, I'm finding it, and I'm able to hit that spot right where I want it to be. So today's practice was varying a little bit on making sure that my dice is landing. What I'm finding is I'm doing well with the landing zone. I'm hitting the landing zone, but if you see on my throws, my dice are coming off of my fingers a little wrong. So as you're doing your daily practice and you're working on a goal, trying to get your target zones in, there's going to be something else that's going to rear their ugly head. And through video and coaching and mentoring, you got to be able to recognize it and be able to move and adapt every day. And it's okay to adapt. You don't have to stick to the same thing. If you think your landing zones are on point, yesterday I think I had some sinus in one cavity or something. It was just, I was a little dizzy. I just wasn't able to see that zone. So I was able to work on that this morning with my warm-ups, and I seem to be hitting the zone. I just happen to have one dice that's off axis, that's flailing. So I have to work on that for tomorrow. So that'll be my goal. Now, let's talk about coaching and mentoring. Every Sunday with my craps crew, we throw our dice and we're on Zoom so we can see each other's throws. And sometimes I'm struggling and working at something, and one of my buddies will see something and say something. So when we're throwing and I have my Zoom call, they may see like, "Hey Phil, you're flicking your wrists," or your release is a little too high. And that's something I'll write down and I'll work on that for the next week. So when I come back to the next Sunday meeting, I have a plan and hopefully I fix that problem. Also, a lot of people pay, I pay to go see some top quality coaches. And we'll go to seminars, the four of us will go to seminars to try and get better. Because once again, with deliberate practice, I can throw 1,000 hours, but if I'm throwing wrong, it's going to teach me bad practices. So I like to break it up a couple times a year, go take a seminar, work with a coach, see if they can help me get better. The first couple years that I was doing it, it really got me to narrow down my focus, reduce my throw. I was throwing with a lot of stuff that I really didn't know what I was doing just based on videos. And my coach got me to get it down to a quick throw so that I could do it in an efficient manner. And when you go to a seminar or you go somewhere and you're working on something for a whole weekend, when you come home, and they'll tell you this in the seminars, you should be working on this for 6 months before you take it out on the road, especially if you're doing some big major change. If I'm doing a little change, like a little tweak, I'm obviously going to be working on it for 6 months, but I write that down in my book. This is my main focus. And I put a date on there. So if I took a seminar in February, I'm going to try and work on that through the fall. And that's going to be my focus. So the 1 year that I took the class, it was about relaxing my grip. They noticed, and it was funny because I had several people helping me in these seminars, and the first person said, "Hey, look at how tense you are when you pick up the dice. You got to relax. This has got to be relaxed. You should be able to kick those dice out." And it was true. I was gripping those dice so hard because I was nervous, So you're up there and you're setting your dice, and everybody's watching you, and it's just like you're on the dice on the casino floor, no different. So it was good practice to get me to relax. And I still feel I'm tense when I pick it up, but I work on my breathing and I work on relaxing my arm so that I can be able to relax it. The next seminar I went, we were trying to change my throw so that I had a more of an angle. Hey Mojo, I'm going to use you a little bit. So I was working with a coach that was trying to get me to plop it a little bit better over over a barrier so that the dice would come down and stop, because I was throwing it too at an angle. It was going out too fast. So when I was working on everything, trying to be low and slow, it was going out much too fast like that, or much too much of an angle. So for a while, I worked with putting that up and trying to make sure I'm plopping my throw. And that took me a while to adjust that. That was one of those big changes that took me about 6 months to try and plop over. And then finally, the last time I was at a seminar, and what I've been working on for about 6 months is relaxing this area, right? And coming on the turn, and then relaxing now. So this has been my main focus right now, is on the throw, making sure I'm not gripping those dice too tight and I'm able to let them go with centrifugal force when I release, instead of the rip and grip kind of attitude that I had. It was my whole focus for the last 6 months is relax this arm. Use your breathing, deep breaths, relax. So when you release, it's a nice throw together. They're relying on your shelf. My thumb is nice and soft on there. And then when I'm releasing, it's staying in the circle and it's just releasing through centrifugal force. So that's been my role for the last 6 months. I'm hoping on my next seminar, when I talk to my mentors, that they can see that I've improved on that, and maybe we can tweak something else to make it better. So once again, with deliberate practice, it's all about making sure that you're concentrating on a specific goal for the day or the week or the month. Like I was saying, my daily goals are different than my weekly goals when I work with my buddies for mentor, versus my yearly goal or 6-month goal, which is when I'm working with the coaches and I'm taking that back and working on something for 6 months before I go see them again and see if I improved that. So with deliberate practice, that goes to setting goals. Use your day before analysis to see what you have to work on, working on those, and then at the end of the day, analyze that and have a goal for the next day. So you can see, you can use this in any kind of thing, whether you're putting, whether you're batting, whether you're throwing dice. This applies. This deliberate practice works, and it helps you improve. So join me tomorrow when we're going to talk about the pickup. We're going to start getting into specifics. So we're going to talk about how to pick up that dice. I know I reviewed it a little bit, but this is going to be intense on how I pick up that dice and make it work each and every time. So remember, the best way to make money at a craps table is to throw for a long, long time.